And on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm now preparing the live stream also on YouTube, so that takes 1 or 2 minutes, and then we're
Pretty
almost
good.
ready. Yeah.
All right. La la la. You may see me taking sips of wine as this happens, just so you know. Hope you don't mind.
Like a boss.
We can release your video over here. Ilvers, Thermals, Lithuania. That's cool. Good. Awesome. Let me browse Marco. Marco is somewhere around Dubai. Let's do it on Algorand. Rhett, I think the last time you and I talked, you were on the streets of Amsterdam, I think.
No, the streets of Norway, I think.
Norway, that's right. You were on the streets in Northern Europe somewhere. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Okay. Alcoholics. Oh, that's a good one. We're gonna them there. And Echo X. Cool. All right. Hopefully, no one tags me as a spammer.
We know what to do, Gordon, when we got a spammer, right?
No, I mean, hopefully, no one tags me as a spammer. We'll see.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
well, I'm bombing a lot of groups just because I'm that kind of guy. Oh, we want that one.
And maybe as a briefing for Rhett and Itay, so the people that are usually joining the call or going to the YouTube channel or watching the recording are from all over the place. This is like an international community with private investors, people with funds, people from tech backgrounds, so different kind of expertise. But the audience normally is really good. As you maybe have seen already also on our channel, the Crypto Wednesday channel, the previous guest, and this is show number 25, so this is a magic number.
Yeah.
Gordon, we had some fantastic guests on the show, right?
They're doing great.
From president's candidate Brock Pierce to Alex last time, really cool.
Michael Turpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the big guys.
Okay. La la la. Cool.
So on my side, we are ready. So we are.
Oh, we got more people coming in. All right. Well, people will come in. Oh wait, my video was off. That heaven forbid. What the heck? 1 second here. Let's see if I can get this better.
That's good.
Yeah. Hold on. We need the full Gordon experience. Actually, I'm gonna drop off and I'll immediately drop back on just so I can get my proper webcam working. Oh, yeah. Good. We got more people.
No worries. Marat also joining the call. Good. Big endorser of the Momentum Protocol, Momentum Labs project. Cool. Corning Dominic.
Darn it, why is that not doing the right camera? Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh, there you go. High res, 1080.
That's better.
That's exciting.
Okay, let's see. Itay, can you also put on your camera again?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Itay. Red.
Yeah.
Cool. So Itay,
Okay.
sometimes you have like a shaved head. Sometimes you have like, hair that I'm jealous of. Can you please explain this? Why one moment to moment it's different? Because you're getting me jealous.
Actually, yeah. So the image that I took that you used for for the poster is actually me after there were news where Corona travels through hair or some crazy stuff. It was really back when it all started and everything was like, no one knows what to do. Okay, so you need to shave your hair. Fine, just took it off.
Fair enough. Okay, well, good. Now we understand.
Yeah. So usually I'm like that, a little messy in the hair, but it's fine. It's my.
Well, you look kind of mean in that one.
Mean? No.
You look like you're too young to get this reference, but you look like Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket.
Exactly the look I was going for, man.
Yeah, totally. This is my gun. This is my favorite tool, or whatever it is. There's only one like it. This one is mine.
You gotta. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Sander, should we start?
Yeah, we're gonna start. So, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening if you're in Asia market. Good morning if you're in the US market. So this is Gordon and Sander again. This is the live Crypto Wednesday show. This is very special because this is our 25th show. So we are celebrating big time. We're really happy. So today we have we think two of the best promising startup projects around the scene from the blockchain and tech scene. We're gonna let them introduce themselves in a little bit. But in the meantime, Gordon, before I hand over to you, because we've got some new people on board. We're now also streaming live on the YouTube channel. So the first part of the show is where Gordon and myself discuss with the guys where they're from, their background, what they're excited about, what their product is all about. Then we dive into. If you have any questions in the first part, please use the chat box below so you can write your questions. We can integrate them in the conversation. But the second part of the show, we will unmic the audience so you can start to ask your questions to Rhett or to Itay, who are most likely happy to answer your questions to give you full insight. We are recording this call, so we are streaming live on YouTube, and we will also publish the video on YouTube so you can share with the community. And that's the goal of the Crypto Wednesday show that Gordon and myself started mid-2020. We said, okay, let's give back to the community. Let's get our industry friends in the show involved so we can share news, insights, latest developments, and much more. And now going to the show. So for people that don't know me, my name is Sander de Bruin. I'm from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I do know both our guest speakers that are here today quite well because I'm involved myself with both the project from Rhett, which is called Europe Chain. And I'm also involved for quite some time already with Itay and his Momentum Labs team. But before we introduce him, Gordon, because you're in a different place in the world this week, where are you now, my friend?
So, well, thank you, Sander. It's good to see you again. I look forward to speaking with our guests. So I guess a couple of items here. I'm Gordon Einstein, the founding partner of Crypto Law Partners. I'm happy to be doing episode number 25 with Sander here. That's cool. I'm broadcasting live from the Super Paradise Beach Club in Mykonos, Greece. And when I turn the camera around, actually, I'll do it now. I don't know if you can see the beach out there, but life is not bad. Okay, so I'm here with my family, actually. That's Evelyn. She's my co-host.
Cool.
Yeah. Sister-in-law, Maurizio, wave. I'm with the whole crew here. And if you see me take a drink of my glass of wine, I'm in the proper spirit of Crypto Wednesdays. So, so anyways, very glad to be back here. Just, standard disclaimer, this is a live show. If you're one of those clever Zoom bombers, you're not going to throw us off. We've dealt with you so many times. I will just give you the Nigerian funeral wave and kick you right off the show, and we'll be laughing at you the rest of the time. So don't think you're clever. I've done this so much. I kind of love Zoom bombers because I just get to rip them to shreds. So if you're out there, you know who you are. Anyways, but again, this is in support of the crypto community. Very happy to be doing this. We've made just a ton of connections between our guests and our speakers. So Sander, let's. Appearances notwithstanding, it's not the Gordon and Sander show. So let's get to our guests and just kind of launch.
Yeah, let's kick that off. Maybe Rhett, we start with you. We do in random order. So maybe you can give us some background on who you are, where you're from, what have you done in the past, and what are you building now? But don't reveal all the secrets on Europe chain, but just a little background.
Yeah, so I'm a typical tech entrepreneur, I would say. Started computer science and business administration as an additional course because I never envisioned myself to be a software developer the rest of my life. So took the more general management and entrepreneurship turn. I founded a company called Kahuna, a cybersecurity outsourcing firm 23 years ago. That I still own. It's managed and operated by a management team, and me and my co-owner, we just regularly visit to see everything is fine, everything is going well. And 3 years ago, I thought blockchain could really solve some of the issues that I saw in the cybersecurity space. So I bumped into EOS.io. EOS, the protocol that was having his ICO, raised 4 billion. If you guys remember, a lot of FUD since then. That 4 million turned into 11 billion for Block One, and they are about to release some of their projects in this summer. So we've been waiting for a very long time to see any fruition of that investment that all the ICO people did. I started EOS Amsterdam, one of the block producers for the EOS chain. There's many protocols that use the same protocol, or same blockchains that use the same protocol, and we are producing blocks for those chains. So I think Bitcoin does 7-8 transactions per second, Ethereum 35. And we produce for 9 chains that each do 10,000 transactions per second. So we are responsible for 90,000 transactions per second capacity. One of those chains is the Europe chain. I envision a world with millions of transactions per second. And I envision a world where a part of those transactions will be organized around a legal ecosystem, a legal framework, a legal. So we launched the Europe chain to be GDPR supporting. We're working on launching a chain for India.
I'm sorry, the lawyer in me, which is basically 99% of me, immediately has to jump in and completely scramble the whole script, and you're just going to have to deal with it. What does it mean to be GDPR supporting?
GDPR supporting. So it is a base layer. So it's a base protocol that provides a smart contract capacity for an application. So an application can run on our chain, and it's up to the application, of course, to be fully GDPR compliant. So it's their job to be compliant. We support that by offering a chain where the whole sign-up process, the whole all the block producers are from Europe, so the agreements are in place to fully structure it in that sense. We offer privacy impact assessment consulting to work with the project to make it fully GDPR compliant. And the number one question always everybody asks, what about the right to be forgotten? Well, the right to be forgotten is not an absolute implementation demand. So if you are banking with your bank and you say, I don't want to be a customer of you anymore, it's not that they are throwing away all the backup tapes because you don't want to be their client anymore. No, they manage a list of clients that don't want to be their client anymore. And basically that's what we do as well. So we limit access to the full chain through history nodes. And the service providers that run those nodes need to comply to either technically implemented filter lists, or the members of the blockchain need to comply to the rules and regulations that we have set. So we have fully enabled. We worked on over a year how to transfer all the European regulations into the EOS.io protocol.
Interesting. And when you run multiple blockchains, you're a block producer for multiple platforms, or can you tease that out a little bit?
Yeah, so the EOS.io protocol works with a depending on the chain. Europe chain is a permission chain, so you have to request to become a block producer and you need to comply to regulations. But the EOS blockchain, you can just rec produce yourself and become a block producer. So there's 450 of them. The top 70 are getting paid. We're number 55 right now, and that fluctuates. We have been in the top 14. The top 21 really produce the chain, and that fluctuates and rotates all the time. So to get the speed that you need and still have a decent sense of security, the protocol implements 21 different block producers, or 21 independent mining pools, you could call them, organizations that run multiple systems, because we don't just run one node, we run for each chain a whole ecosystem of servers, API nodes, full nodes, history nodes, that sort of thing. And it's delegated proof of stake. So people vote for us as a block producer. Now, 3 years later, we are very respected in the community. We build a lot of back-end additional tooling. We do a lot of source code reviews. We do support a lot of projects. And for that, they vote for us as EOS Amsterdam. And with all the block producers in Europe, we've launched the Europe chain. So it's a consortium chain of 5 companies that founded it, and it's being expanded with, because I think blockchain is just an IT stack. So I want block producers that currently are telcos, system integrators, everybody that has a 7 days a week, 24 hours operation running servers can be a block producer at our chain.
Got it. There's a lot to dive in here, and we'll definitely be teasing this all apart. But let me get to our next guest, Itay. Honored to meet you. And yeah, someone I think pointed out you look like a younger version of me, which I have mixed feelings. I'm not sure how to process that comment. But hey, thanks. Whoever threw that out there. You definitely have more hair, so God bless you. So
Well, yeah.
At least now you do. Now that you've let it grow out.
Now I do, exactly.
Yeah, I think Ilver's made that comment. Thanks, buddy. I'll remember that. So tell us. We'll go into both your backgrounds in the sort of next round. I always like to say there's the Marvel origin story, but let's start with what you're working on now, because I know it's fascinating. I know Sandra was very enthusiastic about it. Just kind of tell us your current work and vision, and then we'll kind of go into the backstory next step.
Okay, so I created, I joined Momentum a year and 8 months ago as a CTO. I was setting up basically the lab arm of Momentum, which was in charge of creating AI technology for loyalty programs, giving brands the ability to predict things like churn, people leaving their brand, understanding the future revenue, being able to create a secure loyalty program over a blockchain. We basically give brands a full stack for creating very smart loyalty programs. We don't especially focus on one out of our 3 kind of layers of the product, which are the blockchain, where you can create programs, give points, exchange point, create coalitions between brands, let's say airlines, hotels, etc. We utilize the blockchain as kind of like a security layer, and more of like a place where you can, I can call it a security layer, but the place where data and where a place where you have kind of like a one true source for if you want to examine transactions, you want to audit transactions, you want to be sure that no one is manipulating the data in some way or form.
So let me jump in, because I'm just going to do me. To me, that's inherent to blockchain. That's its fundamental value proposition. Exactly. What the fact that you have a single source of truth and it's auditable and everyone can reprocess their transactions to get to the same result. What makes you different?
Basically, if you're looking at our project is looking to bridge between a very kind of like traditional retailers where blockchain is not a very kind of a common word between their kind of like a dialect. And we create something that delivers a lot of trust, where there's a problem today creating alliances between companies, where there's a lot of trust that needs to exist before even trying to create an alliance, let's say like legal contracts.
And
So
is that trust
you
created
know,
by virtue of the technology or the contractual relationships, or how do you go about constructing that trust?
okay, so basically every brand has a chance to become a node for our Hyperledger Fabric. They get some sort of like the ability to control or to view or to be very transparent with the, let's say, the alliance that they're a part of, or generally speaking, every kind of point or asset that is being generated on their brand. Our kind of like a strategy for the crypto side of the blockchain is the fact that we're going to use Momentum as kind of like a middleman coin as well for trading. We're going to create a loyalty points exchange where brands can launch their loyalty program over our platform and allow other people to actually exchange their assets for crypto assets. We're going to start with a Momentum kind of a crypto launch. So basically, people who want to trade, let's say, we have a customer called Zoo Center TLV here in Israel, which is like a pet chain. They can either select to exchange their points or redeem them for future kind of like discounts. So we utilize blockchain in a way where we see fit. We use it as a tool to support the rest of our operation, which is AI, and we have a retention marketing platform. It supports our entire stack. We truly believe that the blockchain should be involved more where trust is kind of like a strong topic, and where user information has to be kept in a trustworthy place and cannot be manipulated, especially when you're talking about loyalty assets that are actually worth money. So you don't want people to mess around with that, especially with I think it was 200 million cyber attack attempts on loyalty programs last year. Most of them, to all of them, were probably could have been mitigated if blockchain existed for the company was attacked. In many cases, about 70%.
Interesting. And Sandra, I think I'm hearing a slight commonality between Europe Chain and Momentum, and that they're both maybe a consortium play a little bit, like bringing in disparate parties to participate in a single platform and getting additional synergies between the participants. Rhett and Itay, is that fair to say? You're part of the value you're creating is the aggregation of these different players onto a single platform.
The aggregation and the fact that we're trying to be like kind of the company that tries to educate the more traditional customers for using a blockchain in order to expand it in their company, every possibility that exists in blockchain and crypto. So we're kind of like creating a Trojan horse using the AI, basically allowing us to join companies and give them like a kind of an undeniable value day one. And allow them later to launch their entire program on our platform, on our blockchain, which is
It's interesting that you're pro security, but you're calling yourself a Trojan horse.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, we'll talk about my past in a second, but
Sure.
Trojan horse is kind of like a tool for us to get into a company and start expanding our operation, especially kind of like pushing them towards launching their loyalty assets or their reward programs over a blockchain, allowing people to utilize the full kind of utilize the benefits of crypto, blockchain, exchanging points. So definitely, yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, you kind of naturally led into it, which is helpful. So I always like to ask everyone, give us, just like in the Marvel movies, Wolverine has an origin tale. Well, you two are both superheroes, so I'm sure you got origin tales. Rhett, let's start with you. So I know you were born, but that's my educated guess. So give us a little bit about your background, your education, where you're from, and the path that took you down this long road to crypto and blockchain. And I always find that stuff fascinating. So why don't we start off with you?
Okay, well, I'm 53, so I was in my puberty when the personal computers became affordable for households and people.
I've never heard anyone describe it quite that way, but cool.
Yeah, no, I mean the what was it? The Commodore 64 and that sort of computers. So I played a lot with computers at that time. I had chosen to do my middle school in engineering, but I got hooked on computer science and computers, so I switched to computer science. And yeah, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. My uncle was an entrepreneur, so I really always looked at that as being my future. And so I also educated myself to prepare myself for that. So I even did 1 year of psychology. I did 1 year of, so sociology. I really tried to educate myself to become an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Then when the internet came about, we did a lot of, I worked for an IT company. We did a lot of firewall projects, that sort of thing. We shipped a lot of firewalls to basically the whole Dutch top 100 of companies.
Mhm.
And then I decided um, to start my own company, outsourcing cybersecurity services. So that is the background, and the jump to blockchains. I already told that I really think blockchain and Momentum basically has that same vision. I think we need a lot of transaction capacity to implement that future. There's people that run and spin up their own blockchain as Momentum does.
All right, so I'm gonna totally interrupt like I always do. Am I gonna am I gonna have to kill a Zoom bomber? I love doing this. No? Yes?
No, I mute him. Maybe it's
Okay.
a mistake. Let's see.
Oh my god, I love Zoom bombers. They're just like fresh meat to me. Okay. Anyways, okay. So Rhett, you've repeatedly hit the point of transaction throughput, and I get that that's a major feature. I also get that the GDPR compliance is a major feature. One thing I remember talking with you about as you were on the streets of Norway was the sort of like the geographical bounding of your project. Hence Europe chain is the name. I get how that supports GDPR. Is there any performance enhancement that's gained by? Let me take a step back. When I think blockchain,
there is. Yeah.
Let me frame the question better. I know you're kind of anticipating where I'm going, but let me kind of try to get the idea out. When I think about internet, I think it's something that's inherently global or boundaryless. And when I think of blockchain, I think about it riding on the internet and being inherently boundaryless, not respecting or needing to respect geographical boundaries. But there's something interesting about your project that seems to be geographically bounded, yet gain some functionality as a result. And that's an interesting fusion of two separate ideas that normally don't seem to mix. So you got peanut butter and you got chocolate, and tell me why that's a tasty treat. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's a very good comment. It was this thought of launching a chain, especially for Europe. By the way, we are copied. There is a chain now for Latin America, the Latin American Caribbean chain, and we are working on such a chain for India. Basically the same model. We see that in India there's a lot of discussions on the rules and regulations around crypto, and there is just a need for building a blockchain that is connected with their identity system. So the Indian, it's called the India stack. It has a lot of components and layers, and also an identity part there. And we want to bridge that to the chain that we have. When we were brainstorming about, okay, how do we grow from EOS as one chain to multiple chains? And at that time, Wax was launching an NFT chain. Ultra announced a gaming chain. Telos was spinning up a general purpose chain. I said, no, a chain is a signature engine. At the end of the day, what you do with your wallet is sign a transaction. And that signature to be 100% legally compliant, it's very convenient to do that in a way that is fully compliant to the geographic area where you are. The world is simply orchestrated that way. The legalities in Europe are completely different than the legalities in the US. And if you look at, for example, to Odyssey Hackathon, a very big hackathon in the Netherlands, sponsored by 20 large corporations, airlines, energy companies, postal companies, 20 of them, the big brands of the Netherlands, sponsoring already for 6 years, all kinds of blockchain initiative, hackathon, competition. There's almost not one use case brought to market. Why is that? If you look at the use cases, there's a lot of problems.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that is sad. The major reasons, the major reason for that is that at the end of the day, if you are an energy giant and some tech guys think of some sort of interesting use case to build on top of the blockchain, they don't think about gas fees. It's really idiotic that anybody still builds on Ethereum. They don't think about the legalities. So the legal team will kill the project. Very easy. It will never reach production. It's all POC stage. It will never move to why. What do you need to move from POC to production? Business case, legal compliance. And without that, nothing will go to production. And
well, so I'm sorry, are you implying, and maybe you are, that whatever business case is being put forward by these projects, it's being killed primarily by the gas fees on Ethereum? Like that's the major inhibitor? Forget the legal for a second. Just from the proof of concept phase.
No, for some projects it is. I mean, on the chains that we run, there's no transaction fees. Yeah. So, I mean, this industry is very young and very immature. If you would start a project, step one of the thing that you need to assess is on what platform should I build?
Yes.
There's a lot of people just start building on Ethereum. There's a lot of tech outside of Ethereum that has everything that Ethereum is Ethereum 2.0 is building is already available. Yeah, I mean.
And by the way, this nice restaurant just brought me some shots because they like that I'm doing the show from here. So, anyways, cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Yeah. I'm jealous. I'm sitting here with my
water.
Well,
hold on. Here, I have two actually, so you can get double jealous.
Oh my god!
And if you hurry over here, I'll share this one for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
and you know, but okay. So interesting. Well, I mean hold the thought. Let me kind of just go to Itay real quick. So Itay, and Rhett, I remember where we are. This is fascinating. I just want to kind of keep it flowing back and forth. Itay, Wolverine origin story.
Well, wow, Wolverine origin story. It's great that I like a superhero. So
yeah,
I've started really early. I'm actually 30. Our office is running here in Israel, in Tel Aviv. I've been in the startup business for the last 12 years, since I was even more, even since I was 17 years old. I got my first kind of like a real high-tech job. I was always excited about computers, engineering, code, how things work, how things are being built, etc. I progressed over the years. I've actually been part of some kind of like very, very familiar companies that has been through a unicorn stage or through an IPO. I've been a part of a recent purchase of JFrog, who recently did an IPO in New York. Was a part of Viber.
Sorry, I know the name, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So they're creating basically a DevOps kind of a tool for distributing software, relieving all the efforts of updates, etc. Cool. It's I think they're worth $5 billion today. A company that I was a consultant for sold the company to JFrog, and I joined in as one of the kind of like professional services leaders. Before that, I was doing cybersecurity. I was leading a team doing pretty crazy stuff for pretty crazy stuff. that's
okay,
all I can share.
Government or not?
So I was thinking what I can share.
Itay, we're definitely not letting you off the hook. Okay, the moment you say
that's fine.
come on.
Offensive.
Yeah,
Give me like what?
Okay,
doing
so
really
offensive
things.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really offensive stuff, but we were dealing with really bad people and putting them in place. So I was pretty excited about doing this project. I created the control center for the entire thing together with the team that I had. Before that, I was a part of a company called Nextpeer. We were doing gaming, creating backend services for online games. It was sold to Viber back in 2015, I think. Before that, I was a part of kind of like an HR platform company that was launched on Taze.
I'm gonna totally interrupt 1 second. I'm sorry. Just let me interrupt. This is the manager of the restaurant where I am. They're so nice. This again, I want to remind everyone I'm at the Super Paradise Mykonos. This is Tassos.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
So he said thank you and nice to meet you. And this show is sponsored by, I guess it's sponsored by Europe Chain and Momentum, and also by the Super Paradise Mykonos. So everyone come down here. It's awesome. The food's great, super hospitable. They brought me 2 free drinks. They'll probably bring me more. I'm not sharing with you. You can bring me more, dude. What the heck?
Don't forget the naked beach, dude.
Yeah, well, the beach is not naked, but there's some good-looking specimens, better looking than me. So anyways, just sponsored by. So,
Definitely.
anyways, Itay, go ahead, please. So
I've really been through the guts of kind of like the startup industry here in Israel. As you know, it's a pretty hectic nation in every kind of like way and form. Especially the startup scene here is amazing. The amount of unicorns that are being created every year. I think last year we had 6. And 4 IPOs from Israel and Nasdaq and NICE. I've kind of I've experienced let's call it kind of like all the stages of a startup, from being one developer to having a team of 50 people, to being sold, going through an IPO, being losing everything as well, of course, several times actually. Losing the company, not everything. But,
I was about to ask. Hopefully you had some little.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I always do things smartly. So I think I kind of like arrived here at Momentum. If you guys are familiar with Eyal, he was the original founder, together with 2 more people of Mobile Bridge, which is the company that created Momentum.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mobile Bridge is pretty famous, yes?
It was a pretty big company, actually. A couple of years ago, there was a pivot towards creating a Momentum, which was the crypto protocol. And my mission was, when I joined the company, is to create kind of like an AI or a business kind of AI layer to help brands achieve greater success through their loyalty programs, incorporating blockchain. Of course, we were kind of like tackling a few problems as Rhett was preaching to the choir. Every word I agree 100% with the fact that we're facing kind of like issues with Ethereum now, due to the kind of like very high gas prices, and we're trying to gap over it, moving between chains now. And the fact that there is zero governance, it might present as a problem, as Rhett said, to big retailers. So my job was kind of like to find the right kind of like mixture between pushing them crypto through their mounts and giving them like a real applicable business case or a business kind of like solution that they can use. And then I can start telling them, listen, guys, if you launch your reward program on our protocol, which allows people to actually exchange, yes, which allows shoppers to exchange their loyalty points for crypto, cash, or other loyalty programs.
Sorry, guys, I'm in Greece. I just don't control my life.
So basically, yeah, we were kind of like doing it gradually. Our first offering, when we approach a customer, is dude, your loyalty program is losing you money. You're just giving away points. People are not redeeming them. You're writing them as a debt, as you might know.
I'm sorry, you're assuming that, or do you?
No.
How do you know in any particular case that's
Wow,
true?
listen, every kind of like, it's not even one case. It's I think that there's a specific number.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not implying
it's
I'm not implying it's only one program that's not effective. What
No,
I mean
no,
is
it's
when you
most
approach
programs, that's the problem. That's the problem. Most programs, loyalty programs, are not performing well or even performing. That's the big problem. It's just causing losses. But incorporating a smart loyalty program that gives you heads up before things happen, like people are about to leave your brand 2 weeks in advance, giving our customers the ability to make smart decision using actual insights, like listen, this guy is about to churn, but this is the right product to offer him in order to come back, or give him a significant discount on this product. We're offering kind of a range of AI models that help customers understand their customers better. The bottom line, like basically our kind of like, you can call it mission, is to help them boost their revenue through the loyalty program. If you're talking about numbers, it's a huge problem. You're talking about, I think it was 90% of brands are not even utilizing the data to even do anything. So that's a big problem. Of course, their loyalty program data. I think in North America alone, the value of unused loyalty assets is about 100 billion, and that there are 98%. There's 98 billion US dollars in revenue that is left on the table due to bad customer experience. 100 billion cyber attacks between 2018 and 2020 on loyalty programs. And I'm not talking about classic phishing kind of like attacks. Most of those attacks are actually employees trying to change the past of the kind of like the infrastructure, giving them points, creating kind of like cashback cards. It's a very, very big problem.
the biggest threat's internal, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's a very big internal
Wow.
threat, but that's most of the cyber attacks. If you talk about like a cyber attack,
does money laundering happen through loyalty programs?
Yes.
It seems like it could.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course. That's why usually that's why we need governance. That's why we need every kind of like approval in let's say kind of that is possible for us to get. We are FINMA regulated, our token, but of course, money laundering is definitely a problem. If you open the program for exchanging to cash, like points to cash, that's when you create a problem. That's why we're always tedious about everything that we release, every feature that we release that is related to our crypto. We do triple due diligence for everything that we do. That's why sometimes we're a little slow on delivering more features and more features and more features. It's just because when you're dealing with such sensitive data as customer data and asset, kind of like it's money. Loyalty points and loyalty kind of vouchers is money. When you're dealing with that, you need.
Well, it's definitely value.
It's money. It's written as a loss in company books.
Interesting.
1 point. Let's say that you issue a point as a company and it's worth let's say $1. You write it as a loss in your books as a company. You have to. That's a regulation. In most countries, of course. Let's say in Europe for a fact, in America for a fact, in Israel for a fact. So basically, we're trying to make customers happier. We want to make a loyalty infrastructure unified. We want to make customers happier through giving them rewards that they can redeem for crypto, and for helping them decide what they want to buy next by using very smart kind of like tools that we have.
Interesting.
So I rolled into that to create a very cool kind of like AI product that involves blockchain and crypto, which is a challenge. As Rhett said, most projects are kind of like creating a POC, but never going to public, and they have like this crazy valuation, which sometimes you can really put the finger where the evaluation comes from. And here we are actually creating a business kind of like a case, bringing in the companies, implementing blockchain. First of all, through a lot of education. Momentum is going to open an education center, an online education center for blockchains designated for enterprises or like retailers and hotel companies that would like to involve blockchain in their kind of world and their software stack. So we're doing a kind of like a lot in order for us to be able to integrate our crypto projects into companies. The barrier will be reduced in several years, as Rhett said. Blockchain and crypto is kind of young. People need to get accustomed to it, and see blockchain not just as crypto, but as Rhett said, an IT kind of stack that can be used for a lot of benefits.
Well, hopefully at some point it's like TCP/IP. We all know it's there, but we don't need to know how to program it, and we don't need to program WinSocks or anything else. It just kind of happens. Rhett, let me go back to you for a second, because before we kind of open it up to the audience, one thing you said, or several things you said, struck me. But one thing is sticking in my mind, which is the extent you have geography bounded consortiums that are, I think you're what I heard you imply, you can tell me whether that's right, is that these consortiums sort of can peer with each other. So you have, the Europe chain maybe peering with the Latin America chain, maybe peering with the India chain. I'm wondering now, of course, the word peering is kind of vague, but I think you probably get my meaning. Is there a connector? First of all, is that concept true? And second, if it is true, how do you form the connector or the gateway between these geographically bounded consortiums? Like, how do they talk to each other?
We're in this Internet of Value and the Internet of Transactions. You can build a web of trust, as we call it. So the Europe chain can anchor block headers on a different chain. And there's more things you can do. Every system admin configuration change could be anchored on a different chain as well. And by creating all these pools of capacity, Europe chain, such a chain for India, anchored to other chains, you can create something that is very, very, very secure. Impossible to hack. So if there is a company that individually needs, or a project that needs a lot of capacity, you could spin up a 5-node blockchain, anchor that to a public chain. So it can be a private chain. Nobody sees the content, but you can connect on a trust basis. You can anchor it to the Europe chain. Europe chain is public chain, so you can see that there's no funny business going on with this private chain, and you cannot see the individual transaction, because it's that pool of transactions is firewalled off the rest of the internet. So there's multiple models where you can connect. I always joke that we will provide blockchain as a service. And I think the last blockchain I ever will spin up will be the Amsterdam traffic light chain. And that shows the vision that we start with the Europe chain as a pretty big one. But as at one point, the transactions are full. I mean, we do 10,000 transactions per second. We can optimize the hardware, we can optimize the software. Let's say we squeeze out a 10x, then we still don't have anything really performant. It's only 100,000 transactions per second. To power the Internet of Value, we need millions of them. So we need to scale this with multiple chains anchored to each other. Our business model, that's, I think, second part of your question. Why are we doing this? We're building some additional tools.
Let me phrase the question better. I liked your point that the regulatory schema in North America and Europe and India are distinct.
Yeah.
And that when you build blockchains that, to use your word, support in the implementation of GDPR or CCPA or the India infrastructure or whatever, that's useful. I get it. And I also like that you're kind of going against the received wisdom that this stuff gains value by being global. Sometimes there's a value in even bounding it geographically, which kind of goes against the main, how people think about this by default. But, I can see that being the case. But I can also see a situation where these different geographically bounded and different privacy regime blockchains need to talk and need to cross communicate effectively. For example, you have a company that's operating in both Europe and India and Latin America and needs to comply with all of these, and probably doesn't want to run a bunch of separate blockchains, probably wants to integrate them or peer them somehow. I'm just wondering, and maybe you haven't gotten here yet, but I'm wondering if there's like a layer on top or a way to integrate them or a way to peer them effectively so that you take advantage of each one's being geographically bounded and regulatorily compliant in each zone, but yet they talk enough that you can run your entire enterprise from a single platform.
Yeah, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah. In my vision, blockchain is backend technology. So what you need for that client that has services all around the world, you need a front end, and that integrates in the back end with for customer A on the India chain, on customer B on the Europe chain, or they choose to run on a global chain, but then the legal stuff can be very complicated. So what we're talking a lot with Indian system integrators. They service a lot of clients all across the globe. American clients, European clients, and local clients from India. And they immediately get it because they are all the time talking to all these different customers with all these difficult legal regulatory ecosystems that they need to. It's not that they are building a banking application and can sell it to everyone. No, they sell a banking application that really needs to be tailored to the US laws. They build a banking application that really needs to be tailored to the European laws. So they immediately get it. They immediately say, oh, this is a brilliant idea. So you use the same protocol stack. So the developers only need to learn one protocol, and we can deploy on multiple geographical chains. On top of that, we are building what we call an enablement layer, which is an identity system and an asset management system and some other pieces of technology that applications need. So you don't need to build your own identity system. We got that fixed for you. And we're building that in the latest technology. So DID, decentralized identities with verifiable credentials. So they are buzzwords of the future in the identities, in the self-sovereign identity space. So we're building the base layer stack. We're building pieces of the puzzles that you need. And on top of that, application can build their use case, their business.
Interesting. Let me open this up to Marco. I know you're being called. Hey, there you are. So Marco's a very good friend of mine. He's working with me at the Emerging Technology Association. He's deeply involved in Kasre and not just Kasre. He's tapped into the ideas of privacy and identity very closely. And Marco, I don't know if you caught the beginning of this conversation, but there was a little bit of a blockchain smackdown in the sense that no one is a fan of Ethereum and its gas fees, and they're looking for alternatives. Rhett's EOS. Itay, I'm not quite sure what Momentum's built on, or if you spun it up from scratch.
So our private blockchain is a Hyperledger Fabric.
That's right, you said that. So you're big blue.
And Ethereum for a smart contract, and definitely we're getting smacked by the gas prices. Actually, when we launched our token on Uniswap, I think I picked up the gas prices at 6.5K for setting up a contract, which was crazy. I was like flabbergasted. I was like, what's going on? Why? What is going on? So and then it really, like, I was like, yeah, listen guys, we got to go cross chain. We got to solve this. We need more transactions per second, as Rhett said, mentioned before, that this is also kind of like a big problem with Ethereum. The gas prices are crazy. Let's say a company wants to reward their shoppers using the Momentum token right now. It's you have to pay a few dollars for every transaction. It's a problem. So our next kind of like thing is go cross chain, solve that issue, and move on.
Marco, can you jump in and give your points of view on what you heard, and also the alternative blockchain smackdown? And hi. And you got to turn on your audio, my friend. I see Marco moving in the. There you go.
Yeah, he's ready. No sound yet, Marco.
Okay,
there we go.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome to Dubai.
Yeah, I know this feeling. Marco, go ahead.
Shatisalat. That's the Arabic word for what they call communications here. Anyway, it's interesting that people are talking openly about this because, oh my God, Gordon, just keep pounding those back.
I am.
I completely agree. The wonderful thing about blockchain is that it's all a proof of concept right now. Let's be fair. Ethereum is an experiment. It is a very successful experiment. It's showing us a lot of things we can do, but is it perfect? Hell no. And they're working on fixing that. Kasre, as you well know, Gordon, and as many people who've been paying attention know, is basically leapfrogging a lot of the legacy stuff that Ethereum has already decided it needs to move beyond. And they just built a chain that did that already. And hoping to obviously, get ahead of the game on that. But as both your guests have been mentioning, the future is not a single blockchain. It is not even a single blockchain protocol. The future is hundreds of blockchain protocols, many of them specific to use cases that make sense for them. And their transaction volumes will be anything from 10 per second up to 10,000 per second. Not one of them will be able to handle everything for everyone. It's just not viable. The minute you try to go down that road, you run the risk of either requiring an internet that has terabit speeds to every device, or you have a situation where your security is compromised because you have to reduce the amount of data traffic you're creating by creating all these chains that have to be spanning the entire planet's worth of nodes. And that's why I love the idea of the checkpoint chains, which is something that several companies are already doing using the Bitcoin chain, where you're building up a private set of nodes and you just checkpoint them every era, if you will, against Bitcoin, and then you've got proof on chain that your chain was correct at that point in time. I really strongly believe, and Gordon, you and I have talked about this, is that the future of blockchain is just another database. It is just another database. So if you have a company and they've got operations in India and France and South America, they will have 3 chains. They will have a chain for India and a chain for France and a chain for South America, because it's just easy to do that. It's just another database, right? As long as there is an integration point somewhere in their ecosystem that is probably off chain that allows them to look at the collective data across all 3, commercially, they're fine. They don't need to have everything on chain, just the stuff that's critical and handled in a specific way in each jurisdiction based on that local jurisdiction's regulations. I think if you think of everything inside a company that acts as if it was its own little business, so the marketing team and the legal team and everything, and think of each of them having their own ledger, and that ledger acts as its own entity in the ecosystem that is both that company and the world at large around it. You can almost see yourself looking at every blockchain implementation in the ecosystem of the planet as being treated as if it was another entity like an individual. And if you think about it from that perspective, where an individual has different parameters, different attributes than a company, and a company will have different attributes than a division of a company. If you think of them all as if they were people, and each of them has a self-sovereign digital identity, and I highly stress self-sovereign, which is a critical thing that many people don't really understand in this world. But basically what it means is when it's a self-sovereign digital identity, it means that nobody has a copy of it except you.
No one has a copy of it, or no one has control of it?
Both. No one has a copy of it, and no one has control of it except you. It is self-sovereign.
Interesting. Well, actually, let's say, Marco, hold on one second. So, Itay, I see you nodding in a way that implies agreement. Is this resonating with you?
Actually, yeah, definitely. I see blockchain as another tool in my stack for creating an amazing product. That's exactly how I see it. It should be how it is envisioned. Of course, you can create so many kind of like proof of concepts for banking methods, economies, whatever. But the real kind of applications are still rare. Okay. Actually, I can give like a really good kudos to a company called Rally.io, if you're familiar with.
Yep.
They're creating something really cool. I see the way they incorporated a private chain and a public chain, and they use blockchain as one of the tools to build a very cool product. And what I see Rhett creating something that our company could definitely utilize. We are facing troubles with the compliance, GDPR rules, whatever. And if I had a chain that promised me that they can support my GDPR needs and my regulation needs, that would be amazing. That's another kind of like use case, a very interesting use case for blockchain. It's like you
Well,
can
of course,
look at it as
if your identity is purely self-sovereign, you don't have a GDPR issue.
That's also a problem, is you're dealing with the big kind of clients, in the retail sector. Saying self-governance makes them kind of shaky and their voice crackle. But if it will have to mature until we can go to a place where you're self-sovereign and you control everything. There is some way to do so, and meanwhile we have to bridge that using toolings and whatnot that we have outside, or create tools ourselves. Also, by the way, as you mentioned, kind of like a cool POC project that has been running for a while is Datamine. I'm not sure if you heard about it. It's kind of like it's a project where they create a conceptual economy, which is pretty cool.
What does that mean, Itay?
They created a kind of economy without. Sorry, I forgot 1 second. Without you can create over like you can print money, and you can't basically reach a point where there is an inflationless economy. Yeah, inflationless economy.
Okay.
Yeah. They created kind of like a cool POC. It can be used. Definitely, I can see people who are using the concept, but how do you utilize what they build as a company? How do you sell it forward? It's a very interesting project. It gained success. Their token is I think is being traded for a very nice amount. And but then again, where's the product? What can I do with it as a company?
Yeah.
Sander, I think you wanted to introduce your friend from
Yeah.
Turkey, who's a new guest.
Especially because this is a special show, and this is a special friend of ours, of Itay and mine. This is Miss Melis. She's from Turkey. She's one of the Momentum ambassadors, and she texted me, "Can I get into the show to ask some questions to Itay and the rest, to Rhett?" I said, "Sure." So Melis, first of all, welcome to the show live from Turkey. So maybe you can introduce yourself, where you're from, and pop your questions towards our guest speakers.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm at the outside, so yeah. For everything, thank you. Well, actually, I have one question about ensuring the compliance in a decentralized network, because in a decentralized network, questions arise on who within this network falls into the roles of data controllers and the data processors, as in the case under the GDPR. And therefore, who is responsible for the obligations and the responsibilities that come with these roles? And in a private blockchain, this may be easier to reconcile, where the technology is being used solely by one company as part of its back office functions. So what do you think about this, the compliance and GDPR in a decentralized network?
Yeah, that is exactly the reason why we spinned up the Europe chain. And that is also why all the block producers are in Europe. At the time that we were designing and writing all the terms and conditions, we were also, there's a very good block producer in the UK that basically, due to all the Brexit, we couldn't include them in our project, because that would mean that we would have to have data processing agreements between them and us, and that would make things so much more complicated. So that is the reason.
Rhett, I got to jump in 1 second. It had actually previously not occurred to me which I'm kind of embarrassed about, that Brexit affected GDPR with respect to the UK. Are they still
Yeah.
under GDPR, or what happened there?
They implemented GDPR. GDPR is a regulation, so that regulation was implemented in the UK. It is implemented in multiple jurisdictions, by the way, or a lot of other countries took the GDPR as an example. So there's countries in Africa that have privacy laws that are 90% identical. The privacy law of California is pretty identical to the GDPR. It only introduces one additional concept that is interesting. It introduces a household, and a household could be you as a family with father and mother and children. So you can assign roles, and a student house, for example, you could also assign roles to other people. And what was also said about self-sovereign identity previously, if you have full self-sovereign identity implementations for businesses, then you don't have any hassle with GDPR. Well, you are always need to be compliant to GDPR, so you always have a little bit of hassle. But if you write your privacy impact assessment and you do that in a fully self-sovereign identity way, your challenge is so much more easy because you're not collecting the information. You give the rights to control that information to the user. So our identity system is aimed to do that. One of the example use cases that we used when we were designing the product was requesting a mortgage. If you request a mortgage in the Netherlands or in Europe, or I'm in Portugal right now, I'm in that process right now. I need to upload or send or attach to an email to one girl, a mailman, to banks, salary slips, all the movements of all my bank accounts, a shitload of documentation, really a shitload of documentations. And she is just a private individual, freelance person that gets paid on selling mortgages to me by banks behind her. She forwards that email to 6 banks to find the best conditions for me. It is a cyber risk waiting to happen.
Sure.
She doesn't want that. She doesn't need that information. She just wants to help me and get her commission. So if we could have like a Dropbox where she don't see, so she just sees that I uploaded a passport. So the passport is in the Dropbox, and she could somehow share that with the bank. So that is what we're building. So a self-sovereign Dropbox, to use that name, that banks could access my data, but I keep control. That's
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a very interesting use case maybe for credit systems, credit ratings, etc., where you have an immutable past, and you know that this is your credit score, this is what you've done over the years, and this is your final score, and that's it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So that is I think the future. Corporations don't want to have the data; they need to assess, but it's challenging for them as well. I mean, collecting all that data, if you get hacked, you can get serious fines from the European Commission. And there has been serious examples. Airlines had to pay 150 million pounds in the UK because they got hacked. And to be honest, if I would need to advise, or I'm a system integrator supporting that airline, I can't guarantee that they can't get hacked. The tech stack is just not robust enough. So they need to comply to the law. They have a risk for fines, but the tech stack underneath to support you to not get hacked is not available.
Guys, let me jump in. Let me jump in one sec. Andy, are you available? And Simon, I know you got strong views on this and change. And Ilvers, you're welcome to join, even though you said Itay is much younger than I am. which is true. Actually, I'm actually up there with Rhett. So Ilver's only comment to everyone was his only comment was literally that Itay looks much younger than I do. Thanks. I noted. Simon, Andy, are you there?
I'm here, Gordon. Yeah, I'm listening still.
Hey Simon, do you want to show your face and introduce yourself?
Oh, gosh, I have to get up for that. Hang on a sec.
And then Andy friend, is a gentleman I met through Sonder, which I really appreciate. Real expert on blockchain tech, published author. Very familiar with the Asian market.
We actually worked with Andy recently with our token launch. Very good experience.
Andy's great.
Yeah.
Simon will be with us in a second here. And Victoria's in stealth mode because she's surrounded by people, but she is very connected with the Dubai blockchain community. And did we lose Marco? We probably did. Marco got called off because of ETA.
Marco's out. I think Simon is still here with us.
Yeah, Simon is making himself presentable.
Okay. I am still here. No, I'm not.
Simon, you gotta turn on video so we can see your smiling face.
I am 1 second. It's all right.
Somewhat in silhouette mode.
No, I'm in silhouette mode only because it's there you go. That's the other way around.
So Simon just moved. How's your move going, or is your move completed?
Yeah, I'm in the hotel at the moment, so I thought I'd come back for the afternoon. I'm actually in a really nice hotel overlooking the golf course, which is really lovely, and I am enjoying a little wine with you, Gordon.
Yeah, you saw that. I actually thought my video was off when I was taking the shot, but oh well. So now it's been memorialized forever. Look, I'm in Mykonos. I'm just enjoying life. Anyway, Simon, you got a very interesting background. Obviously, it's a finance-oriented background, but you're heavily involved in blockchain and this sort of infrastructure. And I'm wondering, just to put you on the spot, what resonates with you in the challenges that Rhett and Itay are articulating, blockchain efficiency and sort of the privacy/consortium aspect? I'm just wondering if anything occurs.
I love the GDPR angle and your comment about the borderless sort of merger with a very much a border-driven legal framework. I wonder. Obviously, there are other versions of the same thing. We've talked quite a bit about DAOs, and the last element of the conversation around how GDPR is sort of driving towards protecting people and their data, and then giving someone access to an immutable data center where they allow, if you like, call it a private key access. There's a couple of provenance crypto projects out there that have been around for quite some time that have similar sort of attributes. But I wonder whether it goes even further than that, and whether or not you can manage your whole existence through your own data center. So not just your sort of KYC, AML information, banking information, but things like your car registrations, access to insurance details, and whether any of the gentlemen have actually considered that sort of wider life, call it data administration. I always find myself constantly re-registering a car or re-registering a company, doing my licenses for companies, all those sorts of things.
John? Rhett, Itay?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of questions in that question.
Yes.
I would say.
That's Simon. And by the way, Simon, just to give you context, this is a very deep thinker, really good at structuring complex financial transactions, and this is sort of the way his mind works, layers on layers. So just kind of roll with it.
Thanks, Gordon.
Yeah,
it's true, right?
So yeah, well, our answer is that we are building this layers of pieces of the puzzle, I would say, and then it's up to the use case to do what they want to do. And now we are building this product called Mighty, which is a self-sovereign identity system, and we're embracing this, I hope, future standards of the W3C, DID, and verified credentials. So what you could do is, so you type in your birth date, and the birth certificate management company of the Netherlands, so the municipality where you live, they have a function called verified credentials, and you could basically ask them to confirm that the date that you entered into Mighty is the correct date. So you have a verified credential being this old. Others could use using zero knowledge proof. Just the simple question, are you above 18 or less than 18? So I think we're building this infrastructure layer by layer to enhance privacy, to enhance ease of use, and DID and verified credentials are, I think, very important developments in that. Yeah, that is how I see a part of the answer of your thinking on identity. I think a lot of problems that we have are coming from the fact that the physical world and the digital world is not connected in a proper way. That's why we have Zoom spammers, and we have fraudulent elections, and we have 7 billion new people on Facebook. And
I got added by half of them yesterday.
So yeah, I think if we could build this bridge between, and before we couldn't, right? I mean, before we didn't have blockchain. Now we have blockchain, and we're now trying to figure out efficient mechanisms in the tech stack. So how do we scale? And efficient mechanisms in governance, efficient mechanisms in, and yeah, we choose to approach this from a European regulatory approach, and we found if you take all the academic papers on blockchain and GDPR, 70% says it cannot be done due to the right to be forgotten. Yeah, I think we've nailed it down to that it can be done, and we can help companies to utilize the strength of this technology because they really need it. That's the funny thing, even in this space.
Interesting.
Yeah, basically the way we deal with this is we have kind of like an obfuscated kind of ID over the blockchain, connecting between our private and public blockchain, which makes the kind of like public ID useless if data is being erased from our kind of like private blockchain and database. More the database or all relations to that customer are being erased. That customer does not exist anymore, and no one will be able to know, understand, or even connect the dots. So this is how we deal with it right now. Yeah, but Rhett kind of like summed it up with what he said. Yeah, it's something that will have to be developed, and as we all said, the blockchain is still kind of young, and we have to learn how to utilize it to its maximum kind of like potential. And Rhett is helping out with the GDPR kind of like a regulatory sector with this company, and we need to see more companies like that that are really helping more traditional companies and people who are dealing, or companies that are dealing with traditional customers or traditional tech customers, creating kind of like a safe net environment for those retailers or whoever customers that are joining in. Yeah.
Cool. Gordon, I see that we've got a good friend from Asia, from Singapore, Mr. Andy Leon, in the show. So he already texted a few things in the chat box. So let's get Andy involved into the conversation, because he's got some questions. Andy, Hi, how are you, my friends?
But Andy, you have to take yourself off mute.
Hey guys, sorry,
Ready?
There you are.
sorry,
Hey,
I
Andy.
was
What's
reading
up?
some stuff. Hey, hi, Itay. Hi everyone. Sorry, I wasn't really listening to a lot of things, but
It's okay.
maybe just a few cents worth, from my end, is that I tend to be a very real person, very practical. If there is no real usage on the blockchain, there's no real business. What's there to talk about privacy and GDPR and so forth. Whenever I meet friends, in Europe, UK, and so forth, especially, they start to talk about this topic, and they started to talk to me about digital identity and so forth. How the blockchain is going to make things a lot better. But my view is this. I don't really I don't really see privacy as a very big issue, in the blockchain space. In the blockchain space, when we talk about cryptocurrency and so forth, I think the privacy issue is being too not private. You're not telling people anything. You're trying to hide behind many different fences. Hide behind different firewall memes and so forth. I think we need more people to show themselves out. To tell them who they are, what they are after, and so forth and so on. So I think on the privacy part, this is what I see. Then in the very earlier conversation, I heard about things like Ethereum is being expensive. I heard Itay saying that the gas fees on this Uniswap is horrendous. But we got to think from a more industrial wide kind of a thing. Ethereum did well for us, whether it's for the DeFi market 1 year ago, or right now in terms of NFT, or 2017 in terms of the ICO. They have always been the leader, taking the lead. By taking the lead, these also mean that they have a huge liquidity. They have a big innovation team. They are big into community, big into the support, and of course the layer two are also there, just to facilitate some of the gaps that we all see in the market. So I don't think Ethereum is all about high fees, inefficiency, and so forth and so on. A lot of the projects right now built on built on Ethereum, and are also using what has been done throughout the years, on Ethereum, onto their chain. A lot of them are adaptation to what this grandfather has done for the past years. And that's why we are enjoying what we see right now. Whether it's a BSC, for example, um, we can say that it's a fork. We can say that it's it's part of the Ethereum network. But whatever it is, um, the birth of BSC, for example, Binance Smart Chain, is also with the help of Ethereum, right? So we have to give credit to that big brother of ours, and having fees that are small or even free, is not the way to go. This gives people or projects a lower bar to enter into the blockchain space. Thus, you see a lot of spams, scams, and then you see a lot of rug pull. That's what you see, previously on Tron, for example, Justin Sun, which is, that was about 1.5 years ago. You see a lot of all this rug pull. And then when BSC came in, everyone shifted there, because BSC, not only they are cheap, cheaper, but they have the liquidity, they have the base, they have the users and so forth. Anyone going there with a good marketing plan, and strong community, they could easily pull out 20-30 million rag pool very fast. So again, this goes back to the fact is that I see there's a good use case for BSC. I also see that there is a good need to have Ethereum to stay, because that is the foundation of many other things. So that's my few cents worth. I'm not sure what else I've typed. again, I saw my point number 2 is about geographical bounded blockchain. My take is, we could always say what we want, but what we really see, at least from my end, or from a government standpoint, where they really want real usage, they want chains, or they want companies that have the experience to do it, not just theory, not just having very good SOP, what to do A, what to do B, what to do C. They also want to see that it's practical. This is one thing that is really missing in the blockchain space right now. There's a lot of theory, a lot of good concepts, but none of them are into real execution. Many of them are not into real execution. You see a lot of fake volumes, fake transactions, and then you started to think that, oh, with all these fake transactions, I need the speed, but all these things are not necessary. Is there a need to do that? Well, that's a story for developer to really share, man. So my take is this: we just got to be realistic on some of the things that we are doing. Most importantly, for all the projects, is to find real business. Like Itay, I think on his end, it should be fairly straightforward. Rewards. Whether there's AI or not AI, as long as you could convert the rewards from vendor A to vendor B and then to vendor C, life goes on. This is what the user really want, from a user standpoint. For Rhett, I'm not sure what's his business, but the main thing is this: we have to find real usage. I think Gordon would have agreed with me after drinking a few shots I saw.
Actually, I think that everyone that talked agree with you, to be honest, regarding the fact that there are too many theoretical kind of like projects, and a lot of projects that are just don't have a business.
Correct.
And it's creating a barrier for companies like Momentum, where they need to compete with fake volume, market make with crazy stuff that can't. How am I supposed, as a genuine product company with a very kind of like with a good use case, I guess, a good use for blockchain, a good use for crypto, compete with the people who are just fake voluming like crazy? That's kind of like it's very hard. It's not impossible, but it's very hard. And I definitely agree. I
think you need to build applications that people are actually using and have those applications achieve
Correct.
their own public identity and acknowledgement.
Yeah, I definitely.
I think we have to also be mindful about two things. One is, what role are you taking on? Are you an innovator or are you an investor? I'll give you an example. Let's say if I take on an investor role right now, I would probably go for memes tokens. Whether it's going to be a cat, it's going to be a dog, or whichever, because that is the trend. Getting a 3x, 5x, not an issue at all, right? So as an investor, if you are looking at the money side of things, not a problem. But if you are an investor that is looking at something more long term, what Gordon said is really spot on. We have to find things that are usable. It is part of a daily life. Integrated into part of the daily life. And the best thing is, let's not talk about blockchain. It could be integrated into your reward system. For example, for Itay, it could be into the Starbucks reward system or Singapore Airline reward system, but not telling people that it's blockchain. That is the key. That is the key thing, right, Itay? Sorry, I saw you unmute, so you have some comment, man.
No, definitely. I was just preparing myself to comment. I completely agree with you. I definitely agree with you, Andy, and that we think commonly regarding this kind of issue, and but you need to lower the barrier on the people who are implementing blockchain into their companies and innovating over blockchain in order for me to be very, very straightforward when I go to a customer and say, hey, I'm a crypto company. Do you want to launch your $2.5 billion reward program on my crypto company platform? It's the dream, yeah? But it's very hard to achieve right now. There's a gap that needs to be closed using education, more adaptation from corporates, like Kasre in Italy, that you can see a lot of projects happening there. There are many, as Rhett probably has 100 more kind of like examples for big entities implementing blockchain. But this has to happen in order for me as a company to just flash out my crypto kind of like flag and say, yeah, guys, I'm a crypto company. Come launch your 2.5 billion reward program on my blockchain or on my crypto asset. It will get there. Yeah, it will get there. And this is what I'm trying to tell people that are supporting our project. It takes time.
I just want to add on a bit, sorry to just interrupt, but I think the fact right now at this current moment is that most people understand what is cryptocurrency right now and what it can do, especially for Itay's business. They do understand, how it works and so forth. But going out there to tell people that you are a crypto company is not going to give you much credibility. All right. So like, for example, you can say that you are a blockchain company at most, solutions provider, at most. But the positioning of the company must be very straightforward. Today, I'm a maybe a rewards company. All right. Position yourself as a rewards company, go in there with the right solution, how they could calculate the rewards back end using blockchain so that all these things can be done 24/7, for example, across multiple platforms. I think that's the use case for blockchain for rewards. And then if they are more open after the rewards, after you get married, after you hold her hands, right? You know what she actually wants, then the next step would be, hey man, do you want to do it in a crypto manner? Right, and then Rhett might come to the picture and say that, hey, since there's a usage as a business case, these are some of the criteria that you need to do, in order to be compliant, and then if you are compliant, this is, you are able to launch your crypto business or integration into the crypto side of things. I think that is another step, forward. But of course, there's an in-between step, which is just asking them to use crypto to pay, right? So that would be an in-between step, right? Use crypto to pay, then use crypto as a reward, then slowly tokenize their whole business into a crypto-centric business. That could be the end goal. But I think right now for Itay's business, best thing is to position yourself as a rewards expert, a rewards porter, where you could bridge across multiple product, bridge across multiple chain. Right now we are not just talking about things like, in the past we talk about, oh, this is a private chain, a public chain. I think I heard something from Marco just now. Oh, this is a private node, this is a private chain. I think nowadays, we are in 2021. The thing that we should really look at is how are multiple chain going to work with each other. Are there different APIs or different layer that could work together? Right now, this should be the talking point, and no longer trying to tell people that, oh, this is the private chain, is better, is less nodes and things like that. I guess
Sandra, I think we have our topic for our next show.
We have, and now that we got the mic for 1 second back, because I do want to respect Rhett's time, because Rhett has to leave for a different business meeting. Maybe Rhett, any final comments from your side towards the audience that are here or watching the recording?
No, yeah, I think Andy rightly said the blockchain and the crypto space, they love each other, but they also have a very difficult relationship. The crypto space is viewed upon very, very strangely. I noticed that myself in the cybersecurity specialists that I called my friends for many years, because I have a cybersecurity company. There's a lot of cybersecurity specialists that really look very strangely to blockchain. In my opinion, blockchain can really solve some of the issues in that industry, and cybersecurity specialists, I don't know, they look down on blockchain, or they make fun of it. And crypto and blockchain also have this very difficult relationship sometimes. Yeah, sorry, I have to go to the next thing that is organized that I
think we're going to wrap. So we're good. Rhett, stay with it for 1 second. I want to really thank our guests Rhett and Itay, appreciate taking the time. We know you're both very busy, but it's fantastic projects, and you're both interested. You're coming to this from diverse angles, but I think there's a lot of interesting conversation generated by hearing those diverse angles and sort of integrating them. And I appreciate our guests for popping in here and adding their comments. Sandra, do you want to, as I like to say, land the plane?
Yeah, I think we can do a big follow-up on all the items that were discussed. So Rhett, thank you. Itay, also thank you. Appreciate your time. Also our guests and the people that joined the call, like Marco, like Miss Melis from Turkey, and also Andy, our good friends from Singapore. Thank you for joining.
Simon, our new guest, our new #1 fan.
Sorry for missing him out. So we will post a recording on the YouTube channel so you can spread it with your network. I think, Gordon, we have some nice topics for the next upcoming shows, but the first 25 shows.
I think I need to turn off my video every time I'm in Greece having a drink. I was,
You do.
well, sorry guys. What can I say? This is my broke character. So,
a lot of people took the screenshots while you were taking the shot. So
you know what? My friends are my friends, and everyone else can just have their own business, have their own lives.
Well, good. Okay, so for everybody now, thanks for now. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you in the next couple of shows, which will broadcast in the next couple of weeks. So thank you for now. Have a good day, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks.